Hello and welcome. I don't know why we started on me and not, the coach Antor, whose
Nah.
entire show this is. Production minus 5 points.
Oh my
We're
gosh.
on a
I think
grading
you're doing
scale now.
great.
I demand excellence. Thank you.
Thank you for the follow, Coach Olney. Well, Mr. Kyle, how are you doing?
I've been stressed. I had 3 grad school classes over the summer, for which I did all definitely not in 2 weeks, because I was not. Sorry.
Oh no.
You're trying to show off your shirt?
Yeah, he swapped me off.
Okay.
That's fine.
Well, next time.
Yeah.
No. So I was doing a lot of homework. I'm also building a class right now on the Cairo system as one of my final projects for one of my classes. So I know you're excited about that, of me going
Yeah.
through and like taking pictures and how to operate the system and making changes and edits. And it's extremely complicated and difficult, except for if you know what you're doing. Then it becomes really simple. It's like Photoshop, right?
Nice.
So it's just very intimidating. So
That's fun.
yeah, how
cool.
was your summer? I know you've been
It's
a lot
been
more
good.
relaxed.
Yeah, I've lived in the faculty summer lifestyle. Minus, I taught 2 classes earlier. Shout out to College Esports News for the shirt. They didn't send it to me; I bought it, but it's a cool shirt. So, yeah, I wear it all the time because it says College Esports. Yeah, Verso. I don't know what we're gonna be talking about today. I guess we'll see.
I don't know. Has anything happened today?
I think just today,
Yeah,
things have gotten a little spicy. I think that's might be an understatement, but couple pieces of tidbit of news items that we should kind of run through a little bit. But Clerky just announced. Well, he just quote retweeted. The president of Maryville has announced he's retiring at the end of next year. Which is a big deal. He's been pivotal. Dr. Lombardi has been pivotal in the development of Maryville esports and supporting esports at Maryville. And definitely sad to see him go. I know Clerky's really sad about it. We've seen collegiate leadership turn over and it not do so hot for esports, college esports. We've seen that at other institutions. Hopefully Maryville is not one of them, but
you would think they've
yeah.
like established the tradition of like this is part of like what Maryville is right now as far as like the esports side,
Right.
and the success that their program has had. So hopefully that continues. I know. So like personally, I remember them playing in CELO like the first 2 years of the CELO tournament and going, okay, number one, what is a Maryville? But that was a joke from. But I'll also like, holy crap, they've got ex pros and future pros on their team, and this is really awesome to see that colleges are competing against each other at the Riot Studios and. Their name, always being there, and so I hope that continues. I am a bit of a Maryville fan because of League of Legends. It's the only game I really care to follow in the collegiate scene right now. So I hope that it continues and that Clerky can keep doing what he's doing there.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think we all, if you think Maryville has led the space or improved the space of collegiate esports at all, I think we owe some of that to Dr. Lombardi and his trust in Clerky and just the outpouring of resources. So sad to see that announcement, but definitely something worth talking about. The next thing on my agenda was a little bit of a big esports conference update. They announced this past week that they are officially a 501c3, which is a official nonprofit. They'll get some benefits with like tax exempt stuff. They have a mission, board of directors, all that fun stuff. They announced they're going to be doing some initiatives for members of the big esports conference, like advocacy and admin education. I don't know what that means. Community tournaments sounds fun. Networking and PD for students, which is cool. Paid work experience. So I'm assuming they'll have some funding to pay some student workers, and then grant funding for research and event support. So yeah, pretty exciting there.
Yeah, I mean, looking forward to the admin education part was something I was super interested in because I know this is one of the things that we all struggle with is like getting our administration on the same page of like, yeah, we're playing video games, but these are still students who I know my boss said something that really kind of stuck with me is one of those things where, college success is not about what you know or how easy it is for you to learn. It's about your support system and being able to keep pushing you forward. And that's one of those things that all of these esports programs provide for their students, right? That group, that community, they're like, hey, look, we're here in this together. Like, sure, school can suck sometimes, but we're in it together. So, yeah, I hope that continues with the educating admin on how important esports is as a whole.
Fair, absolutely. And the next item here was the D1 conference spice, which just continues to be an issue. I mean, a month ago I ranted about this for a while, but
And we still do.
yeah, and I don't think anything happened at the NACE conference that like went crazy, but it is what it is. I don't even know if I'm fully up to date on the latest D1 drama. I don't know. You might actually be more in the know than me because I avoided Twitter for a good chunk of time.
So I do my best to avoid Twitter because that's more of all sensationalizing and everything. So I talked to Coach Ricochet Jono, my old boss, about all of this. I was like, make this make sense of why it's. So I know why it's so strenuous. Like as far as like we want to only play D1s, right? I get that, totally cool. But as far as claiming like a national championship or like a national winner from the D1 like conference only was something that I was advocating like super hard against, because there's, as far as I know, there hasn't been a D1 national champion in esports as a whole so far. You're looking at me confused like I'm missing something.
It's because I was reading something and not
Okay.
paying attention to everything you said. A national champion in D1?
Sure.
Yeah, no,
Because
there hasn't.
okay. So
And I don't think any D1 is pushing for that, to be honest with you.
but if they only want to play D1s, wouldn't that the national title also include only D1s?
If they call something a national title, but I haven't talked to a single D1 director who wants to create something called the national championship. They just want to create a D1 championship.
No, but they want, just like NACE, it's NACE national champions, it's NECC national champions, it's BEC national champions, right? The number of national champions that we currently have in the space
it's a lot.
is increasing rapidly by every division that's being made, right?
Right.
So as long as this turns into a college basketball tournament like the NCAA, where like the smaller schools can still compete, I understand most of those are still D1s, but there's the occasional, you know, I use Oakland over and over again because technically they're D1 basketball, but they're like a really tiny like commuter school in Southeast Michigan. So that also competed in one because of a 33-year-old. Thank you, us old guys. You know, still competing and winning at the highest level. You know what I'm saying? But Akron Rocket League.
I don't remember what in 2021.
So
oh, you mean like a national champion that was a D1 school?
Sure.
Would have probably been Akron, yeah. CRL, they were kind of the goats at the time.
Again, CRL national
but
champion,
it wasn't a D1 national championship.
Sure.
It's a different thing. I think it's a lot of hurt egos or egos that are afraid to get hurt from small schools, and D1s just trying to do their own thing, and then they try to promote their own thing, and then people are like, that's garbage. I don't know. I think the whole D1 stuff is beyond me. I don't get it all.
No, I mean, I understand like administration like looks at this and they want to play teams that their administration knows. Like, I understand that and I get that, but also, they still play smaller schools. Like whether the first week or the second week, and something I talked to John about was like, if you have a 15-game season, you're telling me that you can't play 2 out of conference games against smaller schools that are good, right?
Right.
So I mean, I bring up the Appalachian State thing over and over again. Like Michigan played Appalachian State, and granted they lost, but you know, every time I bring that up, every time I see Palmer, and I know it hurts you a little bit, but like they play those like fluff games, right? Well, we want to be one of those fluff games. Like at Ferris, we've got good teams. You know, we finished top 16 in Overwatch when Jono was here. We've won our division in several titles. We're national champions for Fortnite. Like it's one of those we want to play other big schools. So
I mean, you can want whatever you want.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, when I was at Aquinas, the Aquinas soccer team's never playing Michigan, and that's not because Aquinas doesn't want to play Michigan. It's because Michigan doesn't want to play Aquinas.
Sure,
and that's gonna be the same thing in esports, because everyone wants something different. All right, the small competitive schools want to be the best. The D1 schools, by and large, don't. Like, they're trying to get their own resources.
Mm-hmm. No,
and how they do that is through advocacy with their admin, and their admin don't care if you win or lose to X small school. And alumni, yes. And I just don't see, the D1s want something different than most other people in the space, so they're going to find whatever gets those things that they want. And like I said a month ago, if you don't provide it for them, they'll just go start their own thing, and that's what looks like is happening. So,
And we're gonna consistently disagree on this point. That's fine. It's good.
It
No.
is.
I have absolutely no problem with them creating their own conference. Play other schools.
Right. That's what they're doing.
Okay, which is perfect.
Okay.
Then we're then
But
I'm okay.
you want to force them to play in the big tournaments too.
Yes.
That's stupid. If I was at Michigan, if I was Palmer, I wouldn't care if I ever won a national championship, especially if I'm not super competitive as like a team. Like I would rather play in conference competition and skip out on the national stuff. And you and I think other people in the space are like, no, you have to play in national competition.
No. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying you can't call yourself a national champion. If you
I don't think
play.
anyone is.
Okay.
I mean, the moment we see Michigan State call themselves a national champion and they didn't play like a national champion in Rocket League and they didn't play CRL is the day I will be on your side of the fence. 100%. I would call them it all garbage. But I don't think they are calling themselves that. It's like I live in your head. Yeah, it is.
That's terrifying. I don't want anybody else in my head other than me. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anyone is. I don't think the D1s are out here saying that type of stuff. But I mean, I guess you could try to prove me wrong. They might think they're that, but I don't think they're saying it.
Don't mind me Googling something right
my
now. Carry on.
gosh. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. I'm gonna skip over this big tidbit that we'll talk about that everyone knows we're gonna be talking about. I'm gonna kind of rearrange my agenda here, and we'll talk about the Scholastic Esports Awards that were announced by Esports Foundry. Chris Postel, along with Voice, basically announced this new awards, this new Scholastic Awards ceremony that they're aiming to do. It seemed like it got met with a lot of positive feedback and excitement. I think a lot of that is because it's coming from people who are endemic to the space and not somebody who's trying to make a quick buck on collegiate. But I think the idea of this awards thing is going to be a lot bigger than just awards. And I will say that I'm hoping to have Chris Postel on the show in the next couple weeks when we figure out our technical stuff on that side. But until then, I just want to like
Thanks
this.
for dropping on that that on me right now. Like,
Yeah.
oh, by the way, so we're gonna want
I'm
live
putting the
video and
I'm putting the pressure on because
okay.
that's how things get done. But in the announcement, they say beyond the award show, this event will feature a variety of panels, workshops, group sessions, and keynote presentations. So we're almost seeing like a national convention, like a NACE national convention with awards that are open to everybody. And I think that's awesome. A ton of opportunity, hopefully for professional development for students. And they announced it would be in January, which is interesting. They talked to me about the dates. I told them they should do it in summer, but the NCAA does their leadership stuff in January. And the idea of having it during the school year makes it a lot easier for some students and teachers or staff members to get to it potentially. It's before competition in the spring starts. It could be in a warm place during winter, which is exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, now I was just getting PTSD of Michigan in January and going, no one's traveling anywhere during this time. It's especially in Big Rapids, we're on the water, so it's kind of tough. I'm reading through chat, lots of interesting takes.
Yeah, little B man with a question here. Do you think? Oh my gosh, my chat is being stupid.
I got it on the screen next to you if you want to read it.
Yeah, let's do it. Do you think that the D1s combining forces could hurt esports down the road if done incorrectly? Let's say they get 4 to 10 million in alumni donations to run this all, and it flops. Could that set? Yeah, but you're assuming that they're going to get 4 to 10 million dollars in alumni donations. I don't see that happening anytime soon. First of all, second of all, we've seen the Big Ten network do Big Ten League of Legends in the past. It kind of flopped. I don't know if it set back collegiate esports in general. Maybe it set back collegiate esports at those institutions a little bit, but we're now ahead of that where we were at that point at most of those institutions. So I don't know. I don't think it will.
I don't think this is exclusively a D1 problem though either. If any school got $4 to $10 million for their esports program and they flopped epically,
right,
that would hurt everybody.
True.
Especially if that got out.
Yeah, I just don't see alumni donations funneling in at that level. I think a lot of these programs are still very small and very underfunded compared to other programs in the space. I think it just helps them organize a little bit, find competition that's with schools that have similar motives and aspirations, and allows them to organize a little bit better. But I come from two schools that had athletic conference support for esports, and the ability to work with other teams in the conference, make a schedule in advance, know that the other team's going to show up if you're going to promote it and have some big showcase match. Like, all of that is a huge positive that you just don't get in the national competitions. Yeah.
Oh boy, there's a lot of stuff
There's a lot
here
going
at the
on.
moment. Yeah.
I think we're up to $42 in alumni donations. Yeah.
From
Palmer,
from Red Bull cans, which would be from me.
Nice. Nice.
Yes, thank you.
Didn't NC State get $25 million from the state? Something like that. But that's not from alumni donations. And I don't know what the expectations were in regards of like an ROI or return on investment from the state for that. I'm assuming because NC has seen to be a state that wants to push for more investment in esports and more events coming. We've seen a lot of stuff happening in Raleigh. Obviously, Epic Games is headquartered in North Carolina. I'm assuming there's not a ton of like, you have to have X ROI. We're just like investing in tech and esports. So I don't know. I haven't even kept up.
It's going pretty quick right
But
now. So
we're not getting alumni donations in those amounts. I'll look.
yeah. But I mean, that would come from the D1s, right? For the
It would
most
be
part.
from the D1s. Yeah.
Or the private institutions like Northwood, who started their program off of a significant alumni donation.
Something like that.
Yeah. Sorry. We'll go
But
on.
also, like, what does doing it wrong look like? I mean, like, we've seen national leagues do it wrong, and here we are still alive. So
I mean, it all just comes down to leadership, right? Because if you put the wrong person in charge of a program, it could collapse very easily, no matter how many resources you have, because of either interpersonal stuff with students or just poor financial management or misuse of equipment, taking stuff. Like, they could fail numerous amounts of ways that doesn't even involve performance, right?
yeah, I don't know. I think it could go a variety of different ways, but I'm personally, from where I'm standing, not worried about that.
I think the only way it really fails is if you don't get someone who's super passionate about esports to then be in charge of all of it, right?
True.
I think that if you give any esports person $10 million and say, go crazy, build a program you want to build, like, I think they're going to probably succeed.
Yeah, we're talking about like the organization of the D1s together.
Oh,
So
sure.
like right now it's being driven by the institutions themselves and people at those institutions that are in charge of esports, so they know what they're doing to an extent. Instead of somebody outside, like if the Big Ten Conference went and paid somebody to start a Big Ten esports league, I think this is the way that it's happening right now is better long term than that happening. So I don't know.
No, I'm
That's
also
where I'm at.
trying to keep up with chat right now. I'm so sorry, guys.
There's a lot going on.
You talk about money in esports, and everyone just pops off about what should happen. And,
Oh my gosh, my chat won't pause. That's so dumb. Okay. Yeah.
I would disagree with this point. Isn't that what literally a lot of the private schools did? So it's the big monies and changing the game or the landscape. Money won't be able to buy esports because the top programs are so alone up there with all the cash. I mean, yes and no. There is a dollar amount that if someone said, if you have this much, could you build a program that wins awards? Then yeah. If you give me $32 million cash, I can recruit some of the best players in the country to come play and win national titles, right? We did that with no money here.
I think Palmer's comment on the $20 million has to do with just how D1s operate. If like $20 million is nothing for a big school like that, but if I had $20 million at any school that I've worked at, we could do all that stuff. So I don't know, but we don't have to do like the last two schools I was private institutions. I didn't have to like bid out projects and go through the state on funding stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. All right, well, let's talk about the big thing that happened today. How about that?
Yeah, this rubs me the wrong way. It's so just
All right. Well, today, if you all have been on Twitter at all, you've seen an apology come out from Jesse at Pace, but it's in relation to a NECC sanction by or onto Pace. I'm going to pull it up here on my screen. You can actually also go to Twitter and go to College Esports News. They just posted it. They just tweeted about it. They knew I was going live and they had to get it out quick. So they were the first ones, you know. But the background information from the NECC: after the completion of Pace University's white team in League of Legends, the NECC was informed a player had account shared in their final series. This is in direct conflict of multiple rules found in blah, 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 blah. The NECC further investigated the situation around the player's account sharing, finding Jesse, the director of Pace University Esports, had directly told this player who account shared and the account sharee to do so in order to play the match. Yikes. So ruling came out. The two players, the sharee and the sharer, are suspended for a competition for 1 semester. Pace got fined $750. That might be the first fine that I've seen that I know of in esports, which is fascinating. And then all other players basically are fine. Yeah, what a yikes situation. First of all, let's talk about the ruling.
NECC apparently has fined it in the past, which I haven't.
Have they?
Yeah,
I was unaware of such things.
But so like, it was a weird. Okay, Antor. What? Okay, are you taking advances from Palmer?
I was not the first fine in esports. People want to fine me.
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't think I've been fined.
No. So this is the whole situation was weird. Like they had to play a best of 3 over 2 days or something, or if I remember this correctly.
In the apology said that they were 1-1 at the time, and some player couldn't make it. So they had this account sharing situation.
Okay, I thought it was on a different day, which I thought was
it might be a different day.
Weird.
Like it was rescheduled or something.
The third game? Yeah, okay. Anyways, this is obviously something that just like can't happen. This is one of those things where students have brought it up to me and I instantly like shot it down like, what are you doing? Like this is dumb. If you're on the roster, you can sub in, but don't get on someone else's account and play for them. That's crazy. And I'm not trying to like virtue signal for myself, but I'm pretty sure everyone kind of gets this general sentiment of like, I would rather lose than cheat. So this is cheating, right? So playing with someone who's not on your roster. So I appreciate the apology, the coming forward, all of that stuff, but I don't know how this happens to start with. And this might be a like online versus in-person play, because if I saw with someone who wasn't on the roster sit down at a PC, if someone who's playing games, I would lose it. Right, like what are you doing? Like I can physically see you there, as opposed to like fully online. It'd be harder to enforce. But yeah, I don't know. This is kind of weird to me. This is not something. Yeah, winning over everything, and I get that, but also cheating is losing, no matter how you look at it. So
yeah, here's my take. It shouldn't happen ever. I mean, account sharing is a no. Like it's against terms of service for the games. It's against all the leagues that I've ever played in. The first thing I would say is that playing a player, what I also say is playing a player from a lower roster should be okay in all leagues. That's my stance. I think it's totally not, like, I think that's what lower teams are for, what academy teams are for. But obviously you have to follow the rules. But account sharing is like huge bad situation, huge red flag. Everyone knows you can't do that. I mean, I don't. If there's a coach who doesn't think you can do, like, you can't do that, maybe you shouldn't be in esports. Like, I don't know. That's just like it's just so common knowledge. And like, if you're the one asking your players to do that, like, you know, you're doing something wrong. And supposedly this is a playoff match. I
It was the
believe.
finals. I thought it was.
Finals, like
Yeah.
you're cheating in the finals. Like most coaches would probably be like, hey, team, this player can't make it. Can I sub in this player who's equal rank or below rank? Hey, league, can we make an emergency exception? Yada, yada, yada. Not, well, share your account, username, and password. What? No, no, no. And then we have an apology issued by Jesse. It's basically like, hey, I screwed up. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't know this was a bad thing.
Which is crazy in itself. Not knowing that it was against the rules or bad.
Yeah.
Is
Yes. Yes. And I will say something similar, obviously not same situations. Situation got Fisher kicked out of NACE, or at least was part of why they got kicked out of NACE. And I think some people who made the comments that if this was somebody else, we'd be asking for their head on a stick. And I have to agree with that. I think if Fisher came out with this information and admitted to it, we would all be calling for Fisher to be shut down as an esports program. And I'll stand by that too. I think there's some valid comments around that very same opinion out there. Now, Little B-Man's in chat, he said earlier that they followed what the sanctions that happened in similar situations in the past, kind of following that precedent. I think the precedent, if that's the precedent, I think it's garbage. I think the league should reconsider their precedent because this idea of having ringers and having players play on accounts and all you're getting is a fine and maybe 2 players have to sit out the next semester is garbage because most of the time they're not getting caught. So you have this one opportunity here that somebody actually gets caught. You can like establish a precedent of what should actually happen if this were to occur. And you're just slapping them on the wrist. I think the whole situation is pretty garbage for collegiate esports in general. So,
I mean, feel free to avoid the question, but like, what would your recommendation for this be then? If someone caught like this, is it full removal? Is it they can't compete in any of these games now? Like, what is?
I think you're suspending the entire program, and I say this because the problem isn't the students. And maybe there's a different solution to this. But the problem isn't the students from what NECC found. It's the director. It's the leadership of the program is the problem. The leadership of the program told their students to do this. That is much worse than 2 students making this decision.
And not telling anybody.
And I would almost argue that the 2 students shouldn't be suspended for competition. They followed what their coach told them to do.
It's still on the student to know what the difference, right?
Yeah, but
This
like
is
what...
wrong.
As a student in that scenario, when your coach asks you, hey, share the information, your login information with your teammates so they can play. Like, are you going to say no and then probably never play for that university again? That's a lot to ask of a college kid, in my opinion.
I'm an older college student, so it's like different. If like my director is like, hey, account share, I'll look at them like they're crazy, right? Students should know the rule book. Yeah.
I also agree with Palmer here that NCAA and the conferences of traditional sports would send a formal letter to the president and board of university too. Yeah, same thing. I think NACE does similar things when they sanction a program like this. There are formal letters sent because we know in collegiate esports, like if we get sanctioned, there's a good chance our bosses will never find out because they're not paying attention. Even if it exploded on Twitter, they'd probably never find out. I think this does draw into question Jesse's role with voice. I've seen the call for him to step down. I don't know if that's necessarily what I would recommend, but I would recommend the board of advisors, I think it is, have a meeting and discussion and decide if Jesse is the right person moving forward to be the executive director. And I say that because, again, this is something that I believe like is really hard to not know is wrong. And is one of like it's like one of the most important like things in collegiate esports, holding collegiate esports, like the integrity of it together is like this trust that who you're playing against is the person playing on their account. And like the moment you break that, like all of collegiate esports, like integrity, like disappears. So I think it's pretty important. But maybe I'm just the old crankety guy who's just yelling from his doorstep.
Then I'm older and crankier. 'Cause, like I 1,000% agree. And I mean, this is why we're so happy to have in-person play of like no kid could get away with that currently. like without someone knowing. Granted, this was the director saying, "Hey, account share," but if you think that I said that to one of my kids and the rest of the students would have gone, "What are you doing? Like, what's going on? Like, why?"
True.
So, the teams know better, and it's I know it's not the students' role to check the director, but also you can question them. Like you could be like, "Hey, why are we doing this? This is cheating. What's going on?" That's
Yeah, I think it's a pretty low sanction in my opinion. But again, like it's also like so important in my opinion because of that integrity thing. Like we all trust that the kids playing on those accounts are those kids, and when we find out that they're not, like why are we even trying? Like
why do we even do all the verifications? Why do we do all the other stuff?
Yeah, and like why are we even competing if the other team could be a ringer pro team from some other country and we don't even know it? Like I don't know. It's just a shame that it's coming out from about a director that so many of us have some respect for or have respect for, and has recently been honored with a Director of the Year award. And it happens that
that's probably
they got awarded the Director of the Year the year that they cheated like this. And someone made a comment like this stuff happens probably a lot more often than we know of. I bet it does. But when it does come out that it is happening, like we have to, I believe like we as leagues and as a community need to be like holding people hot, like more accountable than we are in some of these instances. And I think we do when it's certain schools. Because again, like I said, if this was Fisher, if this was Maryville, if this was even Northwood, like we would all be calling for the heads of these directors and their jobs. And I'm not an advocate for that, but I am an advocate for holding people accountable and making sure that everyone knows this shouldn't be happening.
I see like everyone should have a webcam, or you can just do what we did one year, which is put a webcam on a raised stick that shows everybody currently sitting at their PCs. Yeah. You only need one webcam. You can get one for $25, a cheap one, and just put it up on a cardboard box, right? Like there are ways to validate that. I don't necessarily like having all the kids having their webcams on during games because of PC stuff, but.
Yeah, I think all those could happen. I don't know if they will, at least in the short term, but at some point we'll probably have that.
No, so I mean, so for, I believe this was NECC, because we have a big video board behind our players, we had to have a camera showing our players not turning around. Because we were showing the game behind them, but we were also showing just their point of views. But still, for like competitive integrity, we have to show that the students are not turning around to look at it. And we had absolutely no problem doing that. That was something we could just put a camera on all of the players and stream it to a different channel.
Yeah.
And record all of the VODs. So,
fair. Mr. Navino has this question. Is it me, or was this also like lowered in severity because people saw it was a lower division than the highest level? That very well could be the case. I don't think that matters, in my opinion.
It shouldn't. It should not, from like a principle and like an ethics standpoint. Like what level you compete at should not matter.
I think there could be more lax options when it comes to substitutions in a lower league, but this specific thing of account sharing should not have lesser, I guess, cost or severity in a lower division, in my opinion, as well. What else? I've used $10 webcams and it works great. Yeah. FERPA comes into play for cams, pictures, etc. No. I don't think so. And I mean, that's a good question. I would assume you would have a general release. Because that would be verifying. It would be because it would be information about specific students and their enrollment status, which is protected. But when a football player goes on national television, like they've released those, so there would probably be some type of legal release.
Yeah, I mean, we have all our students sign that as part of their like welcome packet of like,
Yeah.
hey, we can use your name, image, and likeness for various promotional stuff. We can record you while you're in the arena and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily. Maybe it is directory information. I'm not really totally sure on some of that, but I'm assuming there would be some type. I mean, at the very least, it would just be like a simple release form. But like if they're sharing rosters with a league, that's more than just usernames. That would be the same information. So, yeah.
All this legal stuff's making my head spin at the moment. So,
Yeah, I don't think most of us understand all the legal stuff,
Yeah,
but that's why we have legal counsels on campus.
correct.
that we can
And
just
we've
send
gone
it
and
to.
be like, is this okay? And they go, yes.
Yeah.
Get them to sign that. No. And like that's talk to your individual universities.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Relatively quick stuff. So if there's anything in chat anybody wants to talk about,
Yeah.
or
What
has
else do you want to
spicy
chat
drama-
about? We can keep talking about this NECC stuff, but
Yeah.
that was my agenda for today. I figured we would probably talk about the NEC stuff longer than we did. But
Tell us about your Chicago Marathon training. Well, from
Oh,
what I heard, it's a
boy.
lot of running.
it is a lot of running. Yeah, and I've got I've got a couple muscles in my left leg that are bothering me a little bit, so I'm taking a rest day today, which scares me. Sub 2.5 hours. Oh yeah, for sure. Yep. Catch me on the world stage. I'll be winning money.
So
What's
we're
your
seeing,
third favorite dinosaur?
I,
Stegosaurus.
I was gonna go Triceratops because you
Oh,
said
that's my
third
second.
favorite, but then there's 3 for a Triceratops.
Oh,
and 3 horns.
cute.
Okay. Well,
No. Una Rocketeers Worlds just wrapped up. It did. I heard the pings were massive. Did you hear this?
I know I didn't. No.
It was a world tournament of like some of the top Rocket League teams in the world. It was kind of like a CRL Worlds, but by somebody else. And I heard the pings were just atrocious because like there were only a couple North American teams and then everyone else was in Europe. So like they were playing on Europe servers.
Okay. So they're playing on like 110 minimum.
Yeah, and playing Rocket League on 110 sounds like an awful. But I heard Grand Valley did pretty well. I
Okay.
heard Davenport got out first round. I think St. Clair did really well, according to the Twitter. But I don't remember where any of these people finished.
Yeah,
was rough.
Your brother just said it's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I like the concept and the idea. I think it's probably way too difficult to pull off at the moment, considering like getting all of these teams from all over to play. I've seen, so every year they do, because I coached in Europe, they do like national, what would the World Cup of esports be like for like league, right? And they take all the players, and it would just be too difficult for everyone to compete where they currently are. They would all have to have a central location, and that's all just spending too much money to go for a for-fun tournament to see what country is the best, right? And I don't think it's necessarily something that schools would care about as much as like, I don't care if we're international champions. I want to know if we're, Big Ten champions or if we're, West Michigan champions or something like that.
Little B-Man asked, do you know the history of the marathon? I do. Yes. Someone ran 26.2 miles to share some news about something and died. And now we just run that distance for fun. So
Someone literally died running this
Yes.
marathon, and everyone's like,
yes.
let's prove we're tougher.
Yes, exactly. Someone ran 26.2 miles and died, and now we run that. Yeah. I think it was from the city of Marathon or to the city of Marathon.
Oh,
Something
that's
like
the
that.
original marathon.
Yeah.
It was in Greece. Yeah.
It's like Greece to Marathon, the city.
Well, Greece
And it's
is a
26.2
country.
miles. Or Athens. I don't
Yes.
know.
Yes.
And they call it a marathon.
Yeah,
And that's what we do.
He
We
was running
run
for an innovation.
to show that we're
Yeah.
stronger than the dude that died. R.I.P.
I thought you were talking about the Chicago Marathon,
No,
let alone
no, no.
any marathon. Okay.
Just any marathon.
Okay.
That's why they came up with that distance.
Yeah. Okay. Any ultra marathons?
Was
in your
marathon to
future?
Athens. Okay, thank you.
I thought I knew my European history. That's even a little bit before my.
He died
Understanding.
after running to report the results of a battle to commanders. Yeah. There you go. Look at all these people who know how to Google.
I was just doing mine off knowledge. I was a history minor.
Here's one. Palmer, here's a topic you can discuss. Tournament organizers moving more towards only one team per school per game for tournaments. ECC is doing this. I've always been somebody who says there should only be one team per tournament.
So
from a school.
in like the super competitive tournaments and stuff, sure. In stuff like leagues, no. Because, I mean, we pride ourselves on having opportunities for everybody, right? So, like, we have 170 kids on rosters, but we had 6 Overwatch teams.
Yeah, but they're all in
Right.
different leagues.
Correct.
So
they're not in the
playing
same
each other.
tournament,
Right,
sure.
exactly.
And that's why I said, as long as we make the distinction of, like, the same tournament, okay, just bring your A team. Like, why would you bring anybody other than your A or B team, right? So, I'm totally cool with that. That's not something... that's not a controversial topic to which we'll spend the next 6 hours debating.
I'm with
So-
you. I've always been in that boat. Playfly seemingly getting desperate, sending out a ton of discounts to people. If you decide to play, then make sure you get a discount. Good to know. I'm not surprised. I don't even know. I haven't heard of anyone signing up for Playfly. Maybe us.
So no, we haven't signed. We haven't done
We haven't
anything
signed
yet.
anything.
No, because we don't have money right now. I gotta
small
talk to your,
details.
department chair to be like, "Where's my money?" Yeah, we haven't signed up for any leagues or anything yet. So
Yeah.
we don't
that'll
know how many
be
teams we have either because they haven't arrived on campus
Right.
yet. So
small detail.
small
The
detail.
more club-based program issues. It's just what we do.
Yeah. Well, again, we're probably on giving everybody an opportunity that wants to play a game to play and a team, and so that's how we got so big.
Oh, dang. Oh, Palmer just sent me a link for new merch, for new University of Michigan merch.
I'm struggling to get this man to wear a Ferris jersey. Can we stop sending him?
Hey, I
merch
wore
for
one
other
at
schools?
Gen Con.
I know that the first time I've ever seen you in a Ferris jersey.
Oh, that sweatshirt looks dope. Oh, this baseball jersey though. Okay, all right.
We have Ferris Esports baseball jerseys too.
Where?
They're online.
I haven't seen them.
Okay, well that's.
You didn't send them to me. Palmer sends me stuff.
Anyways, okay. No, I mean, do I think we will play in Play 5? Probably.
Why don't we do Nace instead?
Isn't that just nice?
No.
Isn't Play 5 nice?
Oh my gosh! Remember they separated? We talked about this. They're different.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
So okay, we'll put it this way. We'll put a team in just about every league, because
Fair.
we have so many teams that we want them to have opportunities. So so the big
This guy, put me on camera right now.
the biggest problem that we have is 30 PCs and 172 students, like as of last year. So like we have to balance game days around teams and leagues. So I don't think Pay 5's work. Again, we'll see.
Am I being paid for the promo on Michigan merch? No.
You should
But he does send me things when they update and get new merch, which is a value because I would never see it without it. So, yeah.
I like it was signed to a 5-year $10 deal. You get one fucking
Hey,
McDonald's
wait.
deal.
Hey, send me a discount code for $10 and I'll allow you to say that.
I will promo it on every stream.
Let's
and-
go. No, not every stream, but I'll wear it on one stream at
I
least.
know you won't.
Yeah, that's awesome. Those baseball jerseys look dope though. Yeah.
Okay. No,
What
no,
else?
I like ECAC being brought up. My favorite part of ECAC is just the number of game titles that they have, like the off game titles. I know we've had players wanting to play TFT as a competitive, collegiate event for a while, and having that there. I'm interested with the iRacing stuff because they also have F1 and like open wheel as well for iRacing.
True.
For ECAC. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's like ECAC's like traditional athletic model too. I don't know if you know this, but like they sponsor a bunch of off sports, like cool sports that only a couple schools do. The ECAC is like a conference where like if your conference doesn't support the sport you want to be in, you go compete in the ECAC. So like the ECAC's athletic branch is just like a bunch of like associate members who only play certain sports. I think I can pull that up somewhere. Yeah.
No, so yeah, we're really looking forward to that because we have an iRacing rig in the arena, and everyone's like, "I want to drive F1," and I was like, "We don't offer that here because it's just eNASCAR stuff." And we lost. We had like 30 people wanting to try out, and then we told them it was eNASCAR, and we were down to 3. Right, so it's like one of those things where like there's interest in people wanting to do it. We just couldn't ever find a league for them. So I'm super happy. A lot of the kids are super happy. Most of them are leaving their traditional esports titles, Valorant and League and stuff, to go play TFT. And
Interesting.
also the fact that it's not a team game makes me so happy. I hate all my teams.
No.
Like
Fair.
team games, my teammates, other than my like competitive collegiate teams, I love all my kids. But like playing solo queue is the worst experience of my life.
True.
Yet
True.
I'm addicted.
So ECAC, their traditional sports host leagues in equestrian, men's gymnastics, and then hockey. But then they like sponsor, what is this, like 28 different sports? It's crazy. But yeah, so that kind of makes sense that they're looking at these off sports. Antor's about to become a horse girl? No, not happening. Although some of the Olympic equestrian stuff was pretty sick to watch.
I'm judging you.
I was like, I watched a lot of Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, sort of. We had it up on the big screens in there, like while we're working and stuff. So we just randomly look over. Thank you, Flash, for doing that, by the way.
Nice.
And yeah, no. So it was like I don't know. I didn't watch any of the crazy weird stuff like the equestrian and stuff. I watched the shooting for fun because I saw all the memes online, but that was about it. Got cyborgs with like plastic arm stabilizers and a bunch of other stuff. It was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, for sure. What was this? Catch Antor rep in the U.S. in the next Olympic breakdance. I don't think I could rep the U.S., but maybe I could rep Australia. Is that what I've seen? I think I could do that.
You could just lie, bro. Come on. I don't think people realize how big TFT is, especially since it's kind of just chill. That's like literally I play like 10 games of League because I'm addicted, and then I had lost 6 of those and just need to calm down and do something else. And TFT is kind of like my go-to. We also have all of our work meetings here right now in TFT because it's something we can turn our brains off and still have conversations and still play games because we're all gamers. So
yeah. Anybody get to play 2XKO yet? The beta that came out?
I have a couple kids playing it right now.
Yeah,
a lot of my Tekken kids and stuff are playing it.
I was at Evo, and I had the ability to like get in front of the line for beta, and I didn't fill out the last survey, so I didn't get access to it. And the person who my friend who works at Riot is like, "Wait, you didn't get a code?" And I was like, "Oh, wait, there's an email in my email that says fill out this," and I didn't. So my bad.
I mean, if you've got a friend at Riot, just like have them give you a code. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it would also be like kind of wasted on me. I am not a huge fighting game person, but I wanted to know if anyone played it and if it was good. It looked really cool at Evo. Looked really good. Did you play it yet?
No, I'm not a fighting game kind of person.
Me neither.
I granted it's league based, right?
It
so like
is.
I'm everything league based, but I have not played it. I didn't even attempt to get in the beta. Will I try it at some point? Probably, but like I'll probably try it with my kids who've been practicing it for like 2 or 3 months and just get absolutely destroyed and never touch it again. So
Fair.
I don't know. Fighting games were never my thing.
Yeah,
I mean, I played the original Super Smash Brothers on N64, and that was about it. But then again, all these kids in college right now were not alive when that was popular. Flash just called me old, and it's fine.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, what else we got to talk about? That might be it.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
We might need to go play a game of League.
Yeah, because you guys don't know the lore behind this. For 6 months, I have been asking Adam to duo.
Yeah.
Is Fair streaming Confluence 99% sure?
Yes.
Okay. I still have to fill out the entrance form from Bilski that he sent to me.
We are for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Mans puts his stuff together, we'll have a team there too.
Oh,
We're streaming it either way, so Mans has to be there either way.
It's always at a really awkward point in the semester where like classes are like getting actually intensive. It's like the first 2 weeks of school usually. So yeah, we should be there. I will be there. I guess I'm being told I have to be there, so I'll be
Yeah.
there.
We're streaming the B stream.
If Antor doesn't duo queue, he has to wear a jersey for a week. So this is the crazy part, right? I am a little bit higher elo, and by a little bit higher, I mean Antor hasn't played an actual rank season in like 3 years.
Yeah.
So I'm literally offering him a free boost like I do all of my bosses, and he's like, "Nah,
It's
dude,
not a free boost.
you're right. You're my
I am
boss."
investing so much time. Ugh. And the moment I play one game, I'm probably gonna be like, "Wow, I remember how fun this is. Let me play 20 more," and
Yeah,
then my
absolutely.
the rest of my summer's gone.
You let me know because I'm always at a PC, and
I know.
if you're too bad and you're not at your desired elo, just play Lulu. That's what I told John.
Just play Lulu?
I got John to gold with him just playing Lulu and me playing AD carry. It was a great time.
That's fair. I've been gold before. I think Garen got me to gold one year, and then Brand got me to gold the next year.
It's for the free skin, you know. I park all of my accounts in gold, and then I have like 3 or 4 that get to like emerald.
Nice.
So yeah,
Nice.
Bilski won't let Jono have a varsity Overwatch team still. I don't think that's a hot topic. I
yikes.
think that's just facts, because they only have so many varsity titles that they offer. So, in Michigan State, I think okay. This is gonna. I know I talk about Palmer a lot in U of M, but I think Michigan State's actually doing it pretty correct as far as only focusing on certain games until they're established, and then only taking like a little bit at a time, right? Like they have 2 varsity programs, 3 Valorant, Smash, and Rocket League, and then they will eventually take more on. Hopefully, maybe we'll see. And so Jono can get his Overwatch team so he can relive his college days through the Michigan State Overwatch team. I just give him a hard time. Yeah, the Michigan thing. Yeah, I get it. But yeah, no, I have nothing but positive things to say about that. Yeah, mainly since my old boss and I live in his house and I can't say bad things.
Go Michigan. I mean, yeah, no, I don't only have good things to say because it's Michigan State. It's gross. Gross. Esports is all they have going for them. There, I said it. Clip it. We'll verify this on the football field this fall.
Oh yeah, they've been bad for years, bro. Come on, that's Flash. Don't support this. No, I mean when U of M beats Michigan State in basketball, we'll talk. But like the sport they care about, but because it's not football right now.
Yeah,
Considering they can't get a coach.
We're now rambling because we're just talking about actual sports, which gross. So let's wrap this up. Where can people find you, Mr. Mans?
At League of Mans on Twitter. I'm not very active at the moment over the summer, considering I'm doing my grad school classes in a very short period of time. But yeah, no, that's at League of Mans or at Fair Sports because I run the Twitter, and I'm currently yelling at my production student for showing Adam as I'm plugging myself. There we go. There we go. Sometimes you just need a little bit of motivation. But now that I did that, Adam, your turn to plug the socials because that's all I got.
I'm not plugging in socials. But we are planning on doing this show weekly. Again, every Tuesday, 1:00, right during the NACE Competition Council meetings. So they won't be in here to defend themselves when I bash them. So get excited about that. We'll see you next week. Thanks everybody for following, tuning in, and have a good rest of your week. Talk to you later.
See you guys. Uh-oh.
It's broken.
It's still summer,
Fix
all
it.
right?